International.
Yeah, with a friend.
Yes.
And when they upon their return, they brought in some illegal substances that were frowned upon. Customs. Quantities, yeah.
Yes. Not for personal consumption.
That's right. And which was not the original plan.
No.
And all of a sudden, our singer is not available anymore for at least a year or two.
Yes. 1 to 2 years with good behavior.
So that breaks up the band.
Yeah.
Basically because we didn't have the pregnant urine anymore at our disposal. And I mean, you and I, we couldn't show up and say, hey, listen, I'm pregnant. And,
No, that was not going to work.
That's not going to work. So we disbanded there for a bit.
Well, we knew that the end was near because we did the show at the Star with the one and only show. Mm. And if you remember, we came back to the apartment. And you and I were really, really hungry, and we went into the kitchen, and the only thing that was in the kitchen was flour and chili powder. So, not knowing the meaning of no.
Or constipation.
Although the chili powder works counters the flour, but that's a whole other culinary podcast. So I mixed up the flour with water and made this substance that was kind of like a crepe.
Spackle?
Yeah. Instead of crepe, it was flape. And I put it in a pan with the tiniest little bit of olive oil we had left, and then poured chili powder and rolled them up, and those were our spicy burritos.
That's right, the fake burritos.
Yeah.
The birth of the fake burritos.
That's right, and that's. I think that was a turning point. We knew that we could not stretch this any further.
That was vegan before you turned vegan.
And of course the cayenne, boosts up your metabolism. Right. I mean, it has a lot of
it's
really
got minerals
good health.
And,
yes.
Yeah. So during that time, okay, I'm going to tell you what I did. I went over to New Jersey, and I joined my brothers and my sister-in-law's band. Susie and Robert had a band called Tasty.
Right.
And upon me joining, it became A New Taste.
I love it. It's like the new kids on the newer kids on the block.
The new originals. Yeah. And I started. I went there because I needed to get money, save money to go back to LA.
Right.
Regroup myself. And so I was almost like a year, and I stayed with them, and we did the New Jersey lounge circuit, Howard Johnson's and Holiday Inns and stuff like that. Then I came back.
Right.
What were you doing during that period?
A couple of things. The first one that I did, which was actually the first time I was ever on a tour bus and actually on a real tour, Robert Fleischman, who was the singer in Journey before Steve Perry, and he's, I think, co-writer on Wheel in the Sky and a couple of other songs. He had left the band and had gotten a deal with Arista Records and had recorded a record with all top-notch studio musicians. And they were holding auditions for a complete band. And I went down and auditioned, and I got the gig. And went out with Robert on the Van Halen, it might have been the Diver Down tour or whatever tour they were on in 1979. Excuse me. So that was an amazing experience for me. I mean, playing to those size audiences, opening up for Van Halen, playing Day on the Green with Sammy Hagar and Boston. I mean, it was an amazing experience. And that's also when I met. God, I'm terrible with names today. The promoter that helped set up.
Barry Fay.
Barry Fay.
Yeah.
Barry Fay was managing Robert at the time, and we became actually very good friends. And so that was a really positive experience. But when it ended, it ended. And I came back to LA, and I went to the Starwood and did my usual routine, taking drinks off the table. So it was like. One was a Bloody Mary followed by a White Russian. I mean, it's nothing like mixing tomato juice, and cream. And at this point, I'm pretty shit-faced, and I'm holding up the wall upstairs. And Nick St. Nicholas, the bass player of Steppenwolf, comes up to me and he goes, "You Frankie Banali?" I said, "Yeah." "Here's my phone number. Call me tomorrow." And he hands me a piece of paper and walks away. So I look at it. I call him the next day, and he says, "Steppenwolf are going to go out and do some dates, and we need a drummer. And you interested?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, buy the Steppenwolf live record and learn all the songs." So again, I went out and got the bottles so I could get enough money, because I knew there was no way I was going to be able to steal a record. It's not going to fit in my sweatpants. So I went out and got more money from bottles and bought the record, and I learned the record. And he called me up, and he says, "Rehearsal tomorrow, my house, 10 a.m. I said, "Okay." So I get a ride up to his house, and we do rehearsal. We ran the set a couple of times. And he says, "Sounds great. You'll leave a week from today, and we'll get management to send you all the information." And I said, is there going to be any more rehearsals? And he goes, "No, we leave tomorrow to start playing." This, like, really bizarre thing, you know. So something was going on with whoever the drummer was. So I said, "Okay," and they send me my ticket. And remember, this is before cell phones and computers. And so I get to whatever the first city, somewhere in Kansas, whatever the first city, and there's nobody to pick me up. So it's, okay, what do I do? Okay, so, I remember the name of the club. I get the Yellow Pages, something you kids don't know anything about, and I find out where it is, and I get a cab. And a cab takes me there, and I said to the tour manager, Bob Barron, "You have to pay the cab because I don't have any money." And he goes, "Okay, you have any stage clothes?" And I thought the gig was the next night. No, the gig is that night. And he goes, "Do you have any stage clothes?" I says, "Yeah, of course." He goes, "Put them on." So I put them on. The band is all dressed, and they start to walk out of the dressing room to the stage. And I said to Nick, set list. What's the first song?" And Nick turns around, looks at me, and then looks away and walks up on the stage. So I get behind the drums. I've never seen this drum set in my entire life. And I'm trying to set it up. And I said, "Nick, what's the first song?" And Nick goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I start hitting cymbals, right? And sucky. And we finished the first song, and I said, "Nick, what's the second song?" 1, 2, 3. The entire night, I had no idea what song I was going to play. And I did that for almost 2 years. And it ended when, I'm not going to name the manager/agent's name, but it ended because I was now owed 3 weeks' pay. And I knew I wasn't going to get paid, at this point, because it was just like the wheels were falling off, faster than the vehicle was going. And we were playing in West Palm Beach. And at this point, I have my green drum set out with me now. And we're playing a club, and I asked the management to pay me. And they said, "Well, you'll get a check when you get back to LA," which I knew was never going to happen. So we were in West Palm Beach. My mom's house was, 45 minutes away, and I had already arranged for a friend of mine to come with a van. And as soon as we played the last show, that was it.
Wow.
And I came, went to Fort Lauderdale, painted my mom's house, and did some repairs that she needed to do in the house, and then went back to LA. And within 2 weeks' time, I was playing with Michael Monarch, who was another Steppenwolf alumni in a three-piece called Monarch.